Testing. Hi there, guys. My name is Rohan. Today we are going to be talking about how do ants communicate. Today in this video, we're going to be talking about how do ants actually communicate with one another. So let's say you're just walking around, maybe in a park, right? And you look down and you see some ants just walking down a path, and you might be thinking, "Oh, that's cool, but how do they know where they're going, and how are they following in a straight, perfectly organized line, right?" And more importantly, how do they know that? Are they talking with each other? How do they communicate? Well, there are mainly four ways of communication that ants communicate by, okay? The first one is chemical communication, okay? This is the main way that ants talk with one another, by releasing pheromones, okay? Now, there are mainly four types of pheromones, okay? The first type is a trail pheromone, okay? This pheromone is released when let's say a forger ant is forging outside of the colony, okay? And let's say, no, not the colony, but the nest, okay? And let's say they find some food, right? They'll mark a trail, okay? Which basically allows other ants to follow that trail to that source, which means the more ants follow that trail, that pheromone trail, the more stronger that pheromone trail gets. That's why you see ants walking in straight lines, right? Marching. That's why, because they're following a pheromone trail. Now, the second type of pheromone is an alarm pheromone. This is activated when the ant itself is attacked, or when it's defending the colony itself. Okay, it releases this pheromone, okay, which is there to alarm others and alert other ants nearby to, hey, get up, we have to fight. Okay, the third type of pheromone communication is recruitment pheromone. Okay, this pheromone is basically there when the ant needs to call a backup. Okay, for either A, for defending, or B, to carry large amounts of food that are too heavy for one ant to handle. Maybe they'll call for other ants to help them. Okay, and the fourth type of pheromone is a queen pheromone. Only the queen can release this pheromone to show her signal, and it basically shows that her presence is there, signals her presence, and is there to maintain some order around the colony. Okay, so the second type of communication ants do, other than chemical communication, is tactile communication. This is basically physical touch, okay? When they touch each other with their antennas by tapping and rubbing against each other, stuff like that. Why do they do that? Well, they communicate like this for sharing info, okay, and grooming with each other, and also to identify other members of the colony, okay? That's tactile communication. The third type of communication is sound communication. This type of communication is only used when, for example, okay, this sound communication is mostly used when warning is used as a warning signal, okay, and is also used as a way, let's say an ant is trapped, they're calling out for help, and is also used for mating. They make the sound by rubbing pieces of their body together, okay, being that they have exoskeletons, they rub body parts together to create these sounds, okay, which are used for that. And the fourth and final way ants communicate, okay, is pterophlaxis, okay, which basically, in other words, is food exchange. Some ants communicate with each other when they exchange food with each other, okay? The reason why they do that is to make sure the quality of the food is good, or the location, or where the location of said food is, okay? So those are mainly all the four types of communications that are there. So for example, let's say an forager ant, okay, is just going out in the wilderness, okay, and stumbles upon some food, he will leave a pheromone trail all the way back to the colony, okay? So then the colony gets that, so they travel along with the ant back to the spot where the food is, and they carry back all the food, okay? Thanks to that, with the travel pheromone and the recruitment, just in case if they need heavy lifting, okay? That's mainly an example on how ant communication is used. And that's, well, basically how ants communicate. And, well, that's basically it. Thank you for watching this video, and hope to see you next time.